When you're firing on all cylinders, can anyone beat you in your mind?
No.
We're back at it, and we have officially picked the name for the show, the Bearded Bros Golf Show. I'm Rod, and this is
Marcus.
Welcome in, guys. Topics for the week. We have a couple of other first-time winners on the PGA Tour. PGA Tour announces changes to the 2024 season. Still a little bit sketchy on some of the details, so we'll walk through some of those as well. Ton of golf kicking off. I mean, it feels like every tour on the planet is playing right now, and some extra stuff with some college golf mixed in there earlier in the week. Let me see what else we got. Some fashion choices. Seeing a lot of joggers on the course this year, more than previous years. We're going to talk about it, and I have a surprise topic for Marcus at the end, sports related, but not necessarily golf. So let's get into it. So we have two first-time winners. We have a lot of parity going on the PGA Tour with Kurt Kitayama winning his first tournament. He's been hanging around leaderboards here in the last year. We've seen his name up there, but not able to secure the deal. He's able to do so today. Course looked like it was playing incredibly tough at Bay Hill. What did you think about Kurt Kitayama winning? Do you think he's going to be a multiple-time winner, or do you think this was a flash in the pan?
Don't know about multiple-time winner because it seemed like that was so gritty and such. Like a lot of things had to happen for him to end up winning after shooting like even par for 2 days in a row. Like, kind of just withstood the charge. Now I feel like if a John Rahm, like who just got done winning, if they had made a better charge, who knows if they don't fold under pressure. So I think it was kind of like along the lines of what we were talking about last week or in previous weeks, where we were saying so much parity and anybody can get hot and win and everything like that. So I mean, matter of fact, one of his birdies he had before the trouble and stuff, it was like a 46-foot birdie putt, and then after that he didn't do anything until 17. So you just never know. But looks good on him, and it was the Hayden Field or whatever, so big purse, so he's set. And then of course PGA Tour already exempts him for this season and then the next season, so can set up some things, invest some money, and still kick back some and have fun. So I think he really did what he was supposed to do, regardless of what the stars were doing around him.
Yeah, this week is life-changing money for him. He almost doubled his career winnings up to this point. I think he had won just over $4 million. So definitely life-changing money in 1 week. And then, they kind of crowned him part of the in group in that post-game interview. And he seems like he has a lot of fans amongst tour players. So well-liked. He had a lot of people cheering him on. Rory embraced him after the fact. Apparently he's real close with Xander Schauffele as well. So again, just seems like he's a good dude overall. Real humble. Looks like he's played overseas on the DP World Tour and fought his way into this position. So kudos to him. Never a bad thing to see a guy, kind of cross that lexicon and just take a victory. It's a huge win. Again, I think these elevated events or designated events are really creating the drama that the PGA Tour intended. They're getting the stars in the mix. And we'll come back to that because I do want to touch on kind of more on this particular tournament and how the designated events are working. But over there in Puerto Rico, which is an amazing, beautiful island, they played the Puerto Rico Open with Nicolas Echavarria from Colombia winning his first tournament as well. So a lot of first-time winners coming through this year, and really the last couple of years. Last year it was Scotty Scheffler's time to shine, and so we're seeing the new players coming into the fold and dominating. So I don't know much about Nicolas Echavarria. Any thoughts on him or that tournament over there running kind of parallel to the Arnold Palmer?
Congrats to Mr. Echeverria. I mean, the most I can say really is, I mean, it's just like what we were talking about. It's a lesser event. Like, it's like kind of like if you're not watching the AP, you're watching later on in the day on the weekends, or I think they were running their coverage for Puerto Rico earlier than they were the AP. So like, I mean, a couple years back, Jordan Spieth had like a hole-in-one during like a rainy round or something like that. It's about all I remember from there. So
Yeah, I mean,
congrats to that young man.
a lot of these courses, along the water aren't particularly unique. I mean, a lot of them are flatter. I didn't get to watch a lot of the coverage. My eye was trained on the big event, and honestly, the first couple of days,
Definitely.
the coverage was spotty on the Puerto Rico Open. They weren't getting. I saw them come on early on Thursday and Friday, but then they cut it for the rest of the day, so you didn't get a lot of
Yeah.
TV time. Going into the weekend, they did get full coverage on Golf Channel, particularly the latter parts of the round. So kudos to him. Actually, Batia getting his tour card coming in second. I think he went just kind of blackout, just killing it on the back nine of today. So congrats to him. It's good to see young talent starting to spring up here on the PGA Tour. So let's jump back to that kind of designated event and Arnold Palmer. Again, the stars were out. A lot of big names on the leaderboard this Sunday and yesterday. I mean, really throughout the tournament, the big names are there. So it's awesome to see that. And then next week we have the players coming up. You got any early picks on who you're looking for, whose game's trending in the right direction for the players? We know officially Tiger Woods will not be playing the players this coming week. Who are you looking for to win, and maybe just top two that you're looking for?
JT is trending up. I think he should be strong pick for top 5. I think a guy like, you can never count out a guy like Tony Finau. Tony Finau, I feel like he's well on his way. I mean, he went back to back last year, really solidified himself as a top moneymaker, top name getter. I think he is somebody you need to look at as like a dark horse. But even then, Tony Finau has won so much of late, can't even really call him that. I think Jordan Spieth is trending up. That was an insane run he had until, it started slipping away. But, if he can just get that reroute or whatever he's doing up top together, I think he'll be
He's
all
been
right.
working on that. He's been working on that for a couple of years now.
Yeah, about a year and a half. Him and McCormick, they need to get that together. But yeah, it's just so much parity. I can't really point one name out. I like a lot of these guys, and with the featured pairings that they're going to kick up, it's going to be a time where it's like I don't necessarily want to miss any of the coverage. So I think they are in a good spot, and I think it's going to be a fun week all the way through.
I know they were talking about it getting a little bit cooler now that they're hosting this tournament a little bit earlier in the week. Weather did cooperate, this week in Orlando. We shall see. I hope it isn't as severe as it was last year, where there were a lot of delays and weather really affected the tournament, with Cam Smith winning, not able to defend this year, clearly being a part of Live Golf. So it is wide open. Who the heck knows? I am enjoying the stars performing consistently. I mean, the only one that really just kind of flailed this week was John Rahm, which was interesting because I posted a reel earlier in the week about him. He had given an interview saying when he's at the top of his game, could he be defeated? And he said no, just a flat no.
When you're firing on all cylinders, can anyone beat you in your mind?
No.
Clearly, he was not at the top of his game this week. He pointed to the course being tough, which it's tough for everybody. So to see him kind of crumble this week, it was very disappointing because I am, bullish on John Rahm, but this just wasn't his week. We'll see if he makes a return. Maybe I'm wrong on this. You can probably tell me a little bit better. I think the players, the stadium course sets up more for people who have a draw bias. I don't know. You typically see a lot of right to left holes out there. I'm looking for Rory McIlroy to step up. He's been trending in the right direction for quite some time. He loves to hit a big swoop and draw. So I don't know. I think wedges are huge. Yeah. Wedges are going to be huge this week.
And that's the thing about it. And it's funny you brought up Rahm kind of fumbling. Bro shot a 65 first round and then went 76 even and then over par again. Like, bro finished +2 for the week. Like, I don't know what happened between Thursday night and Friday morning, but bro folded. But
yeah, I think the weather got in his head a little bit.
yeah, I don't know about the players because I don't know if it really. I mean, yes, the draw is good because you got holes like number 2, the par 5, number 16, that par 5. Both of those are for sure right to lefters. Number 18, but then you got holes like 14, 3, 4, where they kind of play like straight or like a slight dog leg right back. So I think it could go either way. I think you really gotta just be able to fit it both ways. Like that's why I kind of like Justin Thomas. He can play the fade all day long, but he can squeeze
Yeah.
out him a draw every now and again, or he can play a straight ball over, and he plays it a high ball just like Rory. So you can't really count these guys out that really strike the ball and hit it up in the air and don't really care how hard it blows with the wind.
Right. Yeah, and I think with wind, JT, his game fits wind and weather, so he had a good kind of
Definitely.
strong. I think it was second or third round this week, and he said the wind definitely helped him out just with his ability to be creative with his shots, keeping it low, going high, or riding the wind, or kind of fighting against it. So we'll see. We will definitely see. I'm excited,
Most
looking
definitely.
forward to it. I mean, we're in the prime of the golf season. Masters will be right around the corner.
We're in
March
the
will be
thick of it.
over before, right before we know it. I even like the Valspar. It's kind of an off week for
Definitely.
most people. I like the Valspar. It's a fun
It's a
tournament to
tough
me, kind of
course.
old school setup. Oh, hell yeah. Players really rave about the layout out there. So it'll be interesting to see how many people show up to that tournament, and we'll go from there. It'll just be fun the next few weeks. Honestly, golf is
Got the
killing me
match
right
play
now.
too,
Squeezed in there, it's
bruh.
nuts. It's
And the
nuts.
Valspar has like the featured hole thing.
Right.
Like the Cobra pit or something. I
Oh
swear to
yeah,
God.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. With the little
See?
every tournament's got its kind of, what is it, trademark, stretch of
Yeah,
holes.
like that little
Snake
segment of
pit? I don't
holes.
know.
Yeah, something like that. Swear.
Okay. Something fun. It's cool. But
Definitely.
so yeah, so let's move on to the next one here. So the changes with the PGA Tour. So they're going to go to more what's the word? Designated events, in terms of changing the format of the designated events. They said the number might drop to 10. That's kind of number that got tossed out this week, with fields
Okay.
of 70 to 78 with no cut. The live trolls came out and said, what? Welcome to the party. Rory came back and defended the concept and said that, no cut events, and there's a precedent for that. The WGCs have always been a no cut
Right.
event. So I hate that the world that we're in right now, it's just the nitpicky and it's like gotcha type crap. What are your thoughts on the changes? Again, I've already stated, I think these events are panning out greatly in terms of viewership. The product that they're putting out is very good. What are your thoughts on the changes for 2024?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the news came out that they were going to make, select field 70 to 78, I thought first thing that came to mind was WGC events. That's the equivalent. That's what they're going to do to replace it. And I'm all for it. They have more of those events, and it's all for the PGA Tour. So now these guys that aren't necessarily in the top world rankings are still going to get an opportunity to get in some of these fields just based off of what they're doing on the PGA Tour. So I think that bigger prize pool, no cut. Yes, you can, mess around a little bit if you don't feel like you're going to compete it off of that first round, but still, like there's still, just like what you said, a precedence, and I think it's going to be still very, very competitive, going for 3, 4, 5 million, for as the purse for winning. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a slam dunk, especially since there's going to be more of it than just 4 events, everything, and it's going to be worldwide or international and so stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. One PGA Tour player that had his little run a few years ago, seems to be largely outspoken these days, is James Hahn. He hadn't really won here recently, but he said he hates the changes now that he's become a rank and file PGA Touring pro. Earlier in the year, he was complaining about the schedule and the travel. A lot of people kind of mocked him, saying he was trying out for Live or trying to get his name in the mix, but he seems to have a lot of complaints about the PGA Tour. When, to me, if I was a player that was average or just kind of middle of the road PGA Tour player, if the stars were not playing in the designated events and that gave me a higher chance to win, the prize money hasn't changed for the regular events.
Right.
There's going to be some shifting in terms of sponsorships here and there, but ultimately they're going to keep the money the same. I don't see any issue with them having a greater opportunity or greater chance to win if, let's say, a Rory doesn't show up, or you have maybe two of the top 25 players in the world playing in that week, or none. But he seems to want to complain. So
Right.
if you were that player in that position, how would you view that? If you're not a star, you're not a star. If your name isn't moving the needle, you have to be realistic about that. But if you were in that role or position, how would you play it, or what would your opinion be on certain events that not being designated that you're playing in?
I didn't know that James Hahn felt this way, but but to me, it's kind of almost comical, and it's just really like kind of the opposite of what he's been his whole life. I mean, the guy literally came from being a full-time shoe salesman before being a PGA Tour pro. So it's not like he hasn't done this grinding thing in before. It's like, brother, if you do the work, you're going to get in the status and you're going to get in these fields, and the money's already going to be there. So now that you're later on in your life and, you got to worry about your family and stuff, I think you should be trying to make your time more valuable so that you can get better status, set your own schedule, and be able to play in better, bigger purses events. So I think he shouldn't have really said anything. And I understand why they mocked him, because he's going against everything that we know him for. I mean, like, you got to think about it, until he won the Genesis Open or whatever in a playoff in the rain with like a 12-foot left or right slide and putt. Like, I mean, like, you grinded it out and now you want it easy. And you might be headed to Live, to be honest. You know what? Next subject, man.
I don't want you to get aggravated.
Golly.
So let's talk about some fashion that we're seeing out here on the course a lot here.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
again, the dang joggers. I don't have necessarily a problem with jogger style pants, but the style we're seeing these days, and it's something about it. We're seeing a lot of ankle. I mean, we're seeing whole ankle bones, and I don't know, man. I don't like it. I definitely don't like shorts on the course for professionals. And I've done a video on this. When you're a professional, you show up looking professional. Pants to me are expected on the pro level. Leave the shorts to the college players. Leave them for Live. This is a professional game on the PGA Tour. Again, joggers are pants, but again, the style with the higher cut on the ankle. I can't remember the gentleman's name that was competing kind of towards the end of the Pebble Beach. JT has tried out some joggers. I haven't seen him wearing them here recently. What are your thoughts on joggers?
I am unfortunately a big proponent for joggers, but it's just out of like comfort. And I wear crew socks anyways, so my ankles are never out, just so you know, Rod. But I definitely can see why. Like, I think it goes in with like golf hoodies. I love golf hoodies. Like,
I like the hoodies.
I put the hood on. Then, like, FootJoy has a version where they have individual pockets, not the kangaroo pouch where, like, I can interlock my fingers. Like, I can make pocket. Puma has a version. Travis Matthew has a version. Nike has a version. I love all of them.
Shout out to my my personal brand that I like right now for golf stuff is Fabletics, and so they make hoodies as well with individual hand pockets. Um, so we have a comment that came up. I'm going to throw it up on the screen here. So why is it that women on the LPGA can wear shorts, skirts optional, but that men can't? Fair point, right? So
Right.
I think dealing with the sexes. I'm a realist that things are not equal, but they can be fair. I know a few years ago, the LPGA really ratcheted down dress code on like plunging necklines, um, even I think sleeveless stuff they were really cutting back on. And so I don't know. That's a fair question. I'm not going to say that that's not a fair question to ask. That the LPGA should or shouldn't wear shorts. It
Yeah.
just feels different to me. I wouldn't have a problem if the LPGA came out and said, pants are the only available, bottom layer that you can wear. What are your thoughts on
Right.
that question?
I think
Thank you,
I
Sam.
think at the end of the day, like the world is still pretty trashy and it's misogynistic, and they want a better product on the TV, so they want the ladies to dress a little bit more revealing than men. I mean, of course, men, you don't want to see ghostly, pale, hairy legs from men anyway. So I definitely understand they need pants, but I don't know. I agree with Rod on this. That's a tough question to ask and answer, but it's also one that needs to be asked because why are they allowed to wear this and why is it acceptable for them? Like with shorts and things like that. But I think also like they still find a way to look professional. I feel like the men that were in live that were wearing shorts and things like that, the shirt was untucked. Like they literally were like, I don't know. To me, it just seemed like around with the bros. I don't feel like
Yeah.
that with the LPGA, but that is
Yeah.
a very good question.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. That's a tough one. I have to put some definite thought into that in terms.
Right,
I'm
like,
just
I think I
thinking
might look
about
through their guidelines or something about that.
yeah, because typically it still looks professional, even with the shorts. They're typically either they're hemmed, they're well done. You don't necessarily see sloppy shorts, like you said. The live guys are wearing the shirts out. Um,
Definitely.
the 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 socks were a little bit higher. I think it's just a different look. Men's fashion is slightly different than women's fashion, but again, I wouldn't have a problem if the LPGA said no. Pants are what we're going to wear, and that's what it is. I would not have a problem with that, but I agree. Some of it may be packaging in terms of marketing and being more appealing for TV. That could be a huge part of it. So, good question. Awesome. I do want to bring up something that we talked about. It was either last week or the week before last. It's the PXG ball that came out. Now that a
Right.
few reviewers have actually touched on it, I've seen a review from Rick Shields, Mr. Short Game. There was another one that TXG up in Canada. They did a video on the ball, and everybody's opinion of it was very different. Rick said the deal was very hard. The ball was very hard, and that he couldn't putt with it. Felt hard off the club, even lost yardage off the driver. That was not the result from the other testing from other people, and their comparison was more in line with the Pro V1X versus just the Pro V1. But to me, in my brain, after seeing multiple reviews, it just solidified why golf is such a personal game, whether it comes down to equipment, ball choice, that different swing characteristics coming off of the club that create different things for people. So what are your thoughts on ball choice and three different reviews from people that I would say are reputable, but all different results?
Yeah. I think you gotta it's just like what you said, it's a personal battle because you gotta think about what clubs we're using. Me and you personally know that we Forge is gonna have a better feel, better reception. Everybody might not be using that. They might be using cast. They might not have that same reception. So a ball that's harder might not feel as hard because they have a cast club. They're not feeling it as much as us. But as far as ball choice goes, it's such an individual thing that even people's hierarchy of balls is different. Like, I mean, I would feel like as far as production and overall quality, Bridgestone's probably the best ball to me, but a lot of people still think Titleist has the best ball. And then a lot of people think TaylorMade has a really good ball. And then, of course, you got your Callaway stands.
I disagree with the TaylorMade part of it. So I played TaylorMade TP5 for a long time, probably a good part of 2 years. And the inconsistencies in that ball, just from ball to ball. So after I started realizing that, I'm like, that didn't go the distance that I thought it should have went.
Oh, agreed.
And then I kind of caught a couple of videos testing it out. They would do like a buoyancy test, and the center was slightly off on 10, 2 of the 10 balls in a pack. And I was like, yeah, I can relate to that, because you just get some hits, so you're just like, what's going on with that ball?
Right.
So I agree. Bridgestone and Titleist probably 1A. Hard to pick between the two. The longest time we knew, the rumors about Tiger playing the Nike ball that was really just a Bridgestone ball, or Bridgestone produced the Nike balls. That was the line. So I agree. Bridgestone and Titleist, there's not much in it, depending on your personal preference, and both have quite a few balls in their lineup that are all high quality but different price points. And so
definitely.
I think the user for the PXG ball is going to be very small. It's going to be a PXG stand, somebody that just wants to kind of match their bag. But I think the ball is serviceable for some, but probably for your higher end player, I think the cost is in alignment with what you'd expect.
Right.
$33 or whatnot. So I did want to touch on the number 6 at the Arnold Palmer, just kind of swinging back to that tough hole. A lot of carry over water. And I was thinking about the players coming up. Number 18, one of the toughest, tee shots, just with the way that hole curves around that lake. Are there, between those two, which would you say is more intimidating? And then are there any more other holes that are memorable in your mind on the PGA Tour that just standing on the tee box, you'd get the shakes and kind of freak out?
As I always talk to you about holes with water, I don't care. So to me, I feel like number 6 is just the ultimate risk reward. It's like, how ballsy do you want to be? Number 18 for the players at the stadium courses, hands down, way more intimidating. It's a straight line, then it starts to meander. All of a sudden, you duck hook it. Then it's like, you know what? I don't like this hole. 6, it's like, I'm going to aim this far right, and if it draws, it draws, but I know I can at least cover it on this one.
Yeah.
As far as tough holes, I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking back to the Honda Classic, the Bear Trap, all those part 3s where it's literally nothing but carry, like that to me is a little bit more intimidating than anything else, because your miss is so fine, it's so small, it's so minuscule that, you mishit it a groove low, you're right on the flag, and then all of a sudden you're short. That to me is really, really scary.
I think the only other one that comes to mind, I agree, there are a lot of part 3s that can be intimidating. The only other one where you're taking driver is 18 at Pebble Beach as well. That one has that same kind of right to left turn. Hole goes, completely against the water, and so that can also be pretty intimidating. But I agree. There's some par 3s out there that you stand over it and your margin for error. I mean, hell, even 17, depending on the wind. I think the wind more than anything is the main factor. 17 at the stadium course. This coming up week at the Players. So
13 on the Players.
13. Yep. Yeah.
Same hole.
I mean that Florida swing with all the water out here. I think it's pretty
Absolutely.
indicative. But I know some people don't even think about water. Sometimes it gets in my head, sometimes it doesn't. I cannot lie on that.
It shouldn't.
So before I ask my surprise sports question, any other golf topic you want to address this week, or just topic?
If so, for your next golf trip, where would you think about going, and what time of the year would it be? Would you want to do
Well,
like a fall or a spring, or would you want to do something in the middle of the heat but somewhere northern?
is this real life or hypothetical? Because I have a golf trip coming up that's booked, and it's one that I have with my regular golf group. We
Oh,
go
okay.
every September, the week of Labor Day, and we've been rotating around. Last year we were in Orlando. Year
Mhm.
before that we were in Scottsdale, Phoenix area. We missed because of the pandemic. Prior to that, we were in Florida. I forget, God, no, Tampa Bay area.
Tampa. Tampa.
So this year we are going to Vegas in September.
Okay.
And so that'll be fun. I do have I would say my preference would be early summer for most courses. For the kind of the perfect golf trip, I don't mind super hot, honestly.
Yeah.
That does not bother me at one bit. I mean, we're from Texas, and so we're used to 100-degree heat. I will play. I'm not a cold weather golfer at all. I don't do a lot of rain. That's just not my thing. I don't have fun in that weather. It's not. I lose something from that. But I am intrigued by Michigan or Wisconsin golf.
Right.
You
So
see
that
some
list,
really, yeah.
Kansas, the number one overall ranked state. How believable is that?
We're gonna have to. We're next
We'll
week. We'll
double back
put
to
that.
that.
We'll double back and we'll get that
Yeah.
up on the screen and let people, because that had a cost perspective and
But
it was
still,
some
though,
questionable things. Yeah, yeah. We'll talk
I
about
was
that.
on the list.
Places
Idaho's
that you
on the
would.
list.
I know. I
Idaho's
know.
on the
Place.
list.
I don't know. That's questionable to me. We'll get into that list. I think that
Uh-huh.
bears some deeper discussion. So let's
Yeah.
jump into this surprise topic, or just kind of extra kind of OT bonus stuff.
Okay.
So this week in NBA stories, John Morant. I'm wishing this, like things keep coming out about John Morant that bother me. This week was him flashing a gun on IG. Prior to that, earlier in the year, there was an incident with the Indiana Pacers staff and kind of a red light beam
Goofy.
possibly attached to a gun. Uh, there also was a story this week about him fighting with a 17-year-old,
Last summer.
possibly flashing a gun. Yeah, it's just like these stories keep coming out. What's what what in your mind is going on with John Morant, and does he get it corrected before he messes himself up?
I think I hope he gets it together, but it's not looking very optimistic for that, because the incident, like, well, to me it started, if you really pay attention, it started over the All-Star break, not this one, but the past one. He said he was like at the All-Star game, in the game, still drunk from the night before, all tequila from going out, and he was here to have a fun time and stuff like that. And it's like, I get it. You're an all-star. Like, you're about to be in a game. Like, you do that on your vacation after the fact, and then you might IG live with a one drink, two drinks in your hand.
So he
I
said
think
this in
he
an
get
interview, like publicly. This wasn't just some leaked comment. This was
Yeah, it
in
came
an
out.
interview.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's that suburban kid trying to be tough mentality,
Right.
and it's like, dude, you got your life made. Just be smart. You're a multimillionaire. You got your signature shoe with Nike.
Early,
I
young.
mean, you're 23 years old and you got nothing but greatness ahead of you. Why do the stupid stuff? I don't get it. I I just don't get it.
It's just crazy to me because nothing about Demetrius, Jamel Morant is anything about getting it out of the mud. You ain't getting nothing from there, buddy. You got it
That's just
straight off
nothing.
you got it
It's
straight
just
out of
not
the residential neighborhood, buddy.
right. Exactly. That's just nothing to be proud of.
At
And
all.
like I said, I hope the dude gets it together before he throws away what can be a really long and lucrative career for himself.
Right.
Trying to appeal to people that can't do anything for him at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Because like
So
his story is already inspiring. He's 6'2". He was not highly recruited. He made a name for himself at Murray State. He took Murray State to the Sweet 16 or whatever, had some crazy stats. Like he had a triple double in one game. He had 30 some in the next game, and then got drafted like number 2 overall. Your story is already inspiring. You have to do nothing grimy, anything of that nature. Everybody loves your story, bro. You came out, you was like, I didn't have any athleticism. I didn't have any explosion. I worked in my backyard with it. Then they show the footage of you actually working in your backyard with your dad. Like, what?
yeah,
You don't need to prove anything to anybody, bro. What is this?
I know.
I'm 100% on that. It's pure goofy to me. I don't like fake tough guys as it is. We always talk about it. I don't like none of that. You're not serious. I'm not worried about none of that. So when the whole laser pointer came through that he was pointed at Pacer staff, that was goofy. He talking about he's got the goons, and you know,
it's just so damn dumb.
it's so dumb.
Anyway, I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on it and see where you were going. Something that we want to come back to next week. It's Jack Nicklaus talking about Tiger Woods excited to play on the senior PGA Tour. That came out this week. So 2 things about that. One, we touched on this weeks ago. Like I couldn't see Tiger being excited about playing in it, but apparently he is. And then the second part
all
is
his homies is out there.
Yeah. The second part is Jack Nicklaus being a chatty patty. I hate that. That's really not his news to break. But again, we will come back to this because I think, examining Tiger on the senior tour, I think is bears out a full conversation as well. So we'll swing back to it. We're going to catch you guys again every Sunday, 10 o'clock. We go live. We're making this a real thing now. We have a name, the Bearded Bros Golf Show. We're official. Sir. We've been the show to be named. Both of us are committed to our beards for forever at this point. So catch y'all. Yep. Locked in. That's right. Thanks y'all for tuning in. Catch you on the next one. Peace.